All right. And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Las Vegas, another edition of Bar Comedy USA News. And first I want to give a big shout out to our Pub and Grub Comedy Tour superstars last night. Mike Marvell and Jerry Irby went up to Stratton, South Dakota at the Stratton Bar and Grill, and they had a great crowd, a great turnout. We also had Dan West and Lee Lykin at the HD Tavern in Holman, Wisconsin. So thank you guys. And then really needing to bring their A game was the superstars of the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour last night, the VIPs, or the MVPs. Doug Canny and Chris Barrett went to the Diesel Tap in Buford, Georgia, and it was a little bit rough. They had not much of an audience. It was mostly regulars, from what I understand, who didn't seem to want to have much to do with the comedy. And that will happen when you do some of these nightclubs, taverns, neighborhood restaurants, bars. Sometimes it's like an ambush. Comedy takes them by surprise. It's not necessarily what they want. And I'm not saying Easter is the worst holiday for comedy, but I will say this. It does seem to be a little bit of a challenge. It's one of those sleeper of comedy holidays. Low expectations. What else you got going on this weekend? We got WrestleMania and we got 420. So that's what's up. And then, just like Jesus, in 3 days, comedy will rise again. That can be a very difficult situation when you're on stage and it is just an empty audience. There's a few people there, and you want to give them their money's worth. And there may even be a few people there that are detracting from the show. And then you got to do battle with them. Be the enforcer and the fun guy at the same time. It's a very difficult balance. So this is just a tough weekend. You got WrestleMania. You got Easter. The crowd's mellow. Clubs are slow. But you got to power through in a situation like that. You're a professional. If this was WrestleMania weekend and I was on stage, I would probably be more interested in wrapping up the comedy myself, just so I could see who won the main event. And then you got 420 this week. That's probably the real headliner of the week. And if you're one of those types of comics that can pull off a 420 show and have a room full of people laughing at your setup like it's the punchline, that's magic. Nobody's heckling. If you got the right kind of merch, you can move some product. People will literally buy anything at 420 that has something 420 related. And they'll probably buy 4. No, this is just a weird weekend. It's a very weird stoner, wrestler, Jesus-filled weekend. So, wherever you are out there, head on out to see some live entertainment. If you got comedy coming near you, go to a nightclub, go to a tavern, go to a neighborhood restaurant and bar at the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour, barcomictix.com. And then we've also got the World Series of Comedy happening next week in Waterford, Michigan at One Night Stands. And so that's going to be super fun. And you can get the schedule and the lineup and access to the live streams anywhere in the world at VIPTicketHub.com. And then otherwise, whether you're hitting a dive bar that's bringing in comedy, and maybe they've even got a cross on the wall, or whether you're hitting up a dispensary this weekend, or maybe you're in one of those states where you got to buy the good stuff wrapped in cellophane cigarette wrapper melted with the lighter. Somebody selling gummies out of a tackle box. Comedy will rise from the dead. Amen, brother.